Good afternoon everyone. Today we are going to see about architecture of Linux in operating system. This is the architecture of Linux. Four components are there in architecture. First one is a hardware. Hardware is the lowest level of operating system. This is the physical part of your computer like the CPU, memory, keyboard, hard disk. For example, your computer's RAM or processor. Second one is kernel. Kernel is a core part of Linux operating system. It is the directly control the hardware. It is the manages the CPU, memory and devices. For example, when you open a file, the kernel tells the hard drive to fetch that data. Third one is shell. Shell is a command line interface, a program that lets you interact with the kernel using commands. You type commands and the shell translates them for the kernel. For example, typing is to list files. Utilities. Command line utilities is the command line tools that perform various tasks. Those are helper programs that do specific tasks. They are work with the shell and kernel to perform functions. For example, cp to copy files, move to move files. Fifth one is applications. Applications, programs that users use for their work, built using utilities and libraries. For example, a web browser like Firefox or a text editor like VS Code. The main components of Linux operating system: application, shell, kernel, hardware. Kernel. Kernel is a core part of Linux operating system. The kernel is the heart of the Linux operating system. It connects the hardware like CPU, memory disk and the software, your apps and programs. It manages system resources, handles communication between hardware and software, and ensures everything runs smoothly. For example, your software video player tells the kernel to read the video file. Different types of kernel: monolithic kernel, microkernel, exokernel, hybrid kernel. Monolithic kernel is the all functions run in a single large block in kernel space. Microkernel is the only essential part run in the kernel space. Hybrid kernel, mix of the monolithic and microkernel. Exokernel, minimum kernel gives the more control to applications. Second, system library. A system library is a collection of pre-written code that programs can use to perform common tasks like printing, output, opening files or using the network without writing the code from scratch. Some of the most common system libraries are GNU-C library, libmthread, libdll, dynamic linker, libm, math library. GNU-C library. It is the main system library in the Linux that provides basic functions like input, output, memory handling, and file operations. libthread is a library that supports multi-threading, allowing programs to run multiple tasks at the same time. libdal, dynamic loading library, library. Sorry. Helps the programs load other shared libraries during runtime instead of a startup. Libum Math Library provides mathematical functions like sin, cos, squared, etc. for scientific and engineering calculations. Cell in Linux. Cell a, a cell is a system cell is a program that takes commands from the user and tells the operating system to run the cell. Cell is the command line interface. Today's world cell is a less used. Types of cell in Linux: born cell, born again cell, C cell, corn cell, Z cell, enhanced C cell, fish. Born cell. Born cell is a very popular. It is the original unique cell, simple and fast. Born again cell, bash shell. It is the most popular cell in Linux today. In Linux. C cell. It is the rare of Linux. Syntax like the C programming language. Corn cell moderate. It is the moderate. Corn cell is the combined feature of born cell and C cell. It is useful for scripting and micro performance. Z cell. Z cell is the used today gaining the popularity. Z cell is the powerful cell with features from bash, corn cell and enhanced C cell. Fourth one is hardware layer. The hardware layer is the lowest level of operating system. The hardware layer in Linux is the bottom of layer of the operating system that includes all the physical part of the computer like the CPU, memory, hard drive, keyboard, mouse and network card. Fifth one is the system utilities. A system utilities is the command line tools that perform various tasks. A system utilities in a Linux is a tool or program that helps you manage and maintain the system, like checking files, monitoring performance, installing software or controlling user. Thank you.